Beowulf, Part 34. In after days he forgot not requital for the prince's fall. He became a friend to the wretched Idgals. He aided the son of Othere overseas with a troop, with warriors and weapons. He took vengeance afterwards with cold, sad marches. He deprived the king of life. Thus he, the son of Ecgtheow, had survived every onslaught, dread battles, mighty ventures, until that day when he was to encounter the dragon. The lord of the Geats went then with 11 others, raging with anger to behold the dragon. He had heard then whence the feud arose, the hostility of warriors. The famous costly vessel came into his possession through the hand of the finder. He who brought about the beginning of that strife, fettered, sad in mind, was the 13th man in the troop. He was forced, though in misery, to show the way. He went against his will till he could spy the cave, the burrow under the ground, hard by the surge of the waters, the struggle of the waves. Within it was full of jewels and wire ornaments. The monstrous guardian, the ready fighter, grown old beneath the earth, held the treasures. That was no easy matter for any man to enter there. The king, mighty in onslaught, sat down then on the headland, whilst he, the gold friend of the Geats, wished good fortune to his hearth companions. His mind was sad, restless, brooding on death. Fate exceeding near, which was destined to come on the old man, to seek the treasure of his soul, to part asunder life from his body. Not for long after that was the chieftain's spirit clothed in flesh. Beowulf spoke, son of Ecgtheow. In my youth I came through many rushes of war, times of combat. I remember all that. I was 7 years old when the Prince of Treasures, the friendly ruler of the peoples, took me from my father. King Hrethel brought me up and fostered me, bestowed on me treasure and banqueting, bore in mind our kinship. In his life I was no less loved by him, a child in the court, than any of his children, Herbeld and Hesthian, or my Hygelac. For the eldest, a bed of death was made ready by deeds not fit for a kinsman, when Hesthian smote him with curved bow, his friendly prince with an arrow. He missed his mark and shot his kinsman, one brother, the other with bloody shaft. That was a violent deed not to be atoned for by gifts cunningly wrought, weighing sore on the heart. Yet in spite of that, the chieftain must needs pass from life unavenged. In like manner, it is sad for an aged man to endure that his son in his youth should swing from the gallows. Then he makes a measure, a song of sorrow when his son hangs, a delight for the raven, and he, aged and full of years, can in no way bring him help. He is ever reminded each morning of his son's death. He cares not to await the birth of another son in his court after the one has made acquaintance with evil deeds by the agony of death. Sorrowful, he gazes on his son's room, the deserted wine hall, a resting place for the winds, reft of noise. The horsemen slumber, the heroes in their graves. There is no music of the harp, joy in the palace, as there was of yore. Part 35. He goes then to his sleeping place, sings a song of sorrow, one man for another. His lands and dwellings seemed all too spacious for him. Thus did the protector of the Veders bear surging sorrow in his heart for Herbeld. He could no whit avenge the murderous deed on the slayer, nor could he work hurt to the warrior, though he was not dear to him. Then with that grief which came sorely upon him, he forsook joy of men, chose God's light, left to his sons, as worthy man does, land and cities when he departed from life. Then guilt and strife came to be the portion of Swedes and Geats over the wide water. a bitter hostility after Hrethel died, and Ogenthiau's sons were brave and bold in fight. They did not wish to keep up friendship over the lakes, but often they cunningly contrived dread slaughter near Hreschenburg. That did my friendly kinsmen avenge. The feud and the outrage is well known, though one of them paid for it at a dear price of his life. To Hæthcyn, lord of the Geats, war proved fatal. Then I heard that in the morning one brother avenged the other on the slayer with the sword edge. There Ogenthiau seeks out Eofor. The war helmet was shattered. The aged Skelfing fell mortally stricken. The hand forgot not the feud. It drew back from the deadly blow. With gleaming sword I repaid in war, as chance has given me, the treasures he bestowed on me. He gave me land, domain, and ancestral seat. There was no need for him to seek among the Gepidae, or the Speardanes, or in the kingdom of the Swedes for less worthy warriors to buy them with treasure. Ever I wish to be before him on foot, alone in the van, and so shall I do battle while my life lasts, while this sword endures that early and late has often followed me. Afterwards, I slew Dafgren, the champion of the Hugas, in the presence of the veterans. He was not able at all to bring adornments, breast ornaments to the king of the Frisians, but the keeper of the banner, the chieftain in his might, fell amid the warriors. The sword was not his slayer, but my battle grip crushed the surges of his heart and his body. Now the edge of the sword, the hand, and the keen blade shall wage war for the treasure. Beowulf spoke. He uttered pledges for the last time. In my youth, I passed through many battles. Yet I, aged protector of the people, wish to seek the fight to achieve the heroic deed if the foul foe comes out of his cave to face me. Then, for the last time, he greeted each of the men, brave bearers of helmets, dear comrades. I would not bear a sword, a weapon against the dragon, if I knew how else I could make good my boast against the monster, as erstwhile I did against Grendel. But here I expect hot battle flame, a blast of breath and poison. Wherefore I bear shield and corselet. I will not give back the space of a foot before the keeper of the barrow, but the fight shall be between us at the wall, as fate, the master of every man, shall decide for us. I am brave in mind, so that I can keep from boasting against the winged fighter. Do ye, clad in corselets, warriors in battle array, bide on the barrow to see which of us two can better survive wounds after the deadly onslaught. This is not your venture, nor is it in any man's power except mine alone to strive with his strength against the monster, to perform heroic deeds. With my might I shall gain the gold, or war, a perilous violent death, shall carry off your prince. Then by his shield the strong warrior arose, stern under his helmet. He bore the battle corselet under the rocky cliff. He trusted in the strength of a single man. Such is no coward's venture. Then he, excellent in virtues, who had survived very many combats, wild attacks, when foot warriors crashed together, saw a stone arch standing by the wall, a stream gushing out thence from the barrow. The surge of the spring was hot with battle fires. By reason of the dragon's flame, he could not endure for any time unburnt the recess near the treasure. The prince of the Videgeats, when he was angered, let a word go out from his breast. The strong-hearted man was wrathful. His voice, loud in battle, went in resounding under the gray stone. Hate was roused. The treasure guardian heard the speech of a man. There was no longer time to seek friendship. First, the monster's breath. Hot sweat of battle issued out from the stone. The earth resounded. The warrior, lord of the Geats, swung his shield under the barrow against the dread creature. Then the heart of the coiling dragon was ready to seek strife. The valiant, warlike king first brandished the sword, the ancient blade, not dull in its edges. Each of the two hostile-minded ones felt fear of the other. The ruler of friends stood staunchly against his high shield when the dragon quickly coiled together. He waited in his war gear. Then, striding amid flames, contorted he went, hastening to his fate. The shield guarded life and body well for the famous prince less time than he wished. There, then, for the first time, he had to show his strength without fate allotting him fame in battle. The Lord of the Geats raised up his hand. He struck the dread gleaming monster with the precious sword, so that the bright edge turned on the bone. It bit less keenly than its king, hard pressed by trouble, had needed. Then, after the battle stroke, the guardian of the treasure was in savage mood. He cast forth deadly fire. Far leaped the war flames. The gold friend of the Geats boasted not of famous victories. The naked battle blade failed at need, as it should not have done, the long famous brand. That was no easy step for the famous son of XXXIV to consent to yield that ground. Against his will, he must needs inhabit a dwelling elsewhere. Thus must every man forsake fleeting days. It was not long till the fighters closed again. The treasure guardian took heart anew. His breast labored with breathing. He who before held sway over the people suffered anguish, ringed round with fire. No whit did his comrades, sons of chieftains, stand about him in a band with valor, but they took to the wood. They hid for their lives. In one of them the mind was roused to face sorrows. In him who well considers nothing can ever stifle kinship. And we'll go on with part 36 in the next video. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Love you. As Tigger says, ta-ta for now.